here we are. I'd love to share with you the program that's starting in February. This too was a download from Ishtadeva. Um, and thanks, Lena. And really, I was not planning on doing any more programs. I really just wanted to exist in the river because it's such a beautiful space. I know for my nervous system, to see regular folks building together, to be meeting each other where we're at, to be meditating together, to be moving our bodies together, to be open micing together, right? But I have been assigned to offer this program because, again, it does feel really significant to be channeling something bigger than our egos, especially in our art making and in our lives overall. Previous programs that I've done have been centered on art making. Abundant Creativity was the first program that I did for many years around tapping into different mediums and modalities. Then it was Creative Somatic Alchemy, which brought in more of the body. And now it's this program, which is Belonging to the Muse. And this one does feel pretty pretty expansive across our entire lives. It's allowing and embodying our artful life because our lives, I believe my life certainly is my art. It's not me as a writer. It's not me as an entrepreneur. It's not me as an illustrator. It's not me as a daughter or a sister or an auntie or a facilitator. It's all of it, and how it all intersects and dances together and flows and stagnates and ebbs and expands. So that's really what it's about. And this is meant to be very anti-capitalist because how do you quantify our lives? How do you quantify a life? We just cannot. And so in that exploration, we may gain clarity as to how to actually, say, for example, price our art or make a living, right? I think those answers come, but that's not going to be the focus. Our focus is so much vaster. And in that vast focus, the smaller pebbles will kind of fall in and find their place. That prompt of how does Ishtadeva see you is so meant to be like, come here, Avo, let me wrap you up and show you who you really are, you divine being you. What a sense of radical belonging, right? And what's it like when we can create from that sense of belonging? I belong here. I belong in this body. I belong on this planet. I belong in this community. I think I know when I feel that radical sense of belonging, anything is possible, as some folks of you, some of you reflected, right? When I trust, anything is possible. And that sense of possibility, wonder, awe, expansion is really what it is about. So, yeah, this is really for those of us who are longing for something, right? Longing for something more than what we've experienced in relation to our creative making, to our art, to our lives. Maybe even there's like something scary about an exploration like this. I know this program feels very scary for me, I admit, because it's very spiritual, you know? Like, yeah, it's abstract in some way, but also very felt sense. If there's a sense of blocked, uninspired, uncertainty, even like the same old energy, right? Like sometimes I'll ask folks like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, same old, right? If there's any of that energy, then this is probably a really good space for you. Spontaneity, trust, y'all already have been cultivating that in so many ways, I'm sure, in your life. And again, the inner critic and ego, if that comes up a lot, right, we will be doing a good amount of exploration with ego, and egos are going to be at the table, right? They're going to be at the table. So how it breaks down logistically is that it happens across 3 months. We meet one-on-one once a month. That really allows us to get into your personal explorations. Then once a month, we meet as a cohort. So cohorts will be no bigger than 4 to 5 people. It's going to be very cozy. intimate again, because if we're doing ego work, we have to feel hella safe, right? Because like ego's not going to drop its weapons without us feeling safe. And sometimes small spaces, slow spaces allow for that. And in one-on-one spaces sometimes as well. Maybe not. We'll see. That's why there's variation. And then this program also includes 3 months in the river. And if you are already in the river, then you get a discount on this program. Um, and this is important too, because as Firda, you said earlier, right? There's something very important about healing, giving, receiving, circulating in community. I think it feels so pivotal right now for me. Certainly, I know that. Um, to be in circle with others committed to this type of work. And so that's why the river is there. It's more variation. It's kind of, you can pick what you want to attend. There's so many events that are happening. There's so many resources in the river. It's not meant to be consumed all at once. It's meant to be engaged with. Does anyone want to share anything about the river, your experience in it so far?
I love it there. I was already telling my small group that it's definitely a space where I feel seen and I could see others and just experience community in a different way. Like creating connection with people I may not have met in real life, but it's still being genuine. It just really allows me to like hit pause and enter a space where I could just really center um like and access parts of myself.
Yeah, I think that for me, like two things, some of the content, like there was two workshops, one around resentment, like how to process resentment, or that was very powerful for me because I have been a resentful person. But it like just having compassion to that, like where does it come from? And the other one was around like disappointment. So those two conversations have been just really powerful, like just in my life. And I think that too, like the other spaces, like there's a creative sangha where like meet up to like, continue creative work. And then there's also like a devotion. So I think for me, it kind of like helps me like feel accountable, but also like all the spaces feel creative to me. And just expansive. So there it is very lovely. I really have enjoyed my time here. I'm very grateful for Olivia having invited me. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that you spoke to the two sessions about resentment and disappointment. That shows, that ties to like the tending of the ego side, right? That's ego coming in and being like, fuck them. They're, blah, 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 all of that, right? Well, I also have so much resentment that comes up in me, and it is my responsibility to clear and alchemize that. Nobody else's responsibility. It is mine. And so self-accountability in community is so cultivated and nourished in the river, which is why I personally love it. And of course, I'm obviously biased, but it's fantastic. The themes are winks and synchronicities. This is when we're really like already feeling into wonder, feeling into the ways in which Ishtadeva is communicating with you already, right? There's nothing that you don't already have access to. Pausing here just to see Olivia's chat, experiencing safety in ways that support me with exploring self and others without the noise of ego, external voices saying how things should be or look. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Is that speaking to the river, Olivia? Or
Yes.
I'm so grateful I'm not the only facilitator in the river. Like we have many, it's relative. We're growing in terms of how we can pay facilitators and feature and host facilitators, but there are other facilitators. Jess, our community engagement specialist, facilitates. Jess is often with her daughter Aria, who's 9 months old, and so there's like really beautiful energy there. And then we have Michelle, who's cultivating our grief circles. We do monthly grief circles, and then we have different yoga teachers who come in and teach. Olivia taught a workshop on counter narrative storytelling or counter storytelling with zine making. It was dope. It was a dope workshop, and we'll do it again, and the recording is in the river. So we also have the lagoon in the river, which is like this beautiful multimedia library of resources. So parts of this workshop will be in the lagoon as well, like the ear grounding practice. So you can reference that. Okay, so back to month 1. Yeah, we're going to be like feeling into the wonder that's already present. Month 2, we really get into some of the analysis to some degree and the critical dialogue around how what we're doing is decolonizing our creativity. It is getting into right relationship with our creativity that is here, that is not oppressed by capitalism or patriarchy or white supremacy, not oppressed by perfectionism, not even oppressed by our own egos, that internalizes a lot of these systems. And we're going to be paying attention more to ego, right? And we're going to be doing this work in month 2 on purpose, right? Because we're not getting right into ego, because ego wants to suss things out a little bit, and that's understandable, right? But wonder is more innate to us than our egos, and that's the container that we're setting first. And then the last month is really about reinforcing what already, has been sprinkled in here today, and that is possibility and trust. And this is not meant to be like the conclusion of such a lifelong practice, but more so, let's just keep remembering, let's just keep highlighting this knowing in the body and in our awareness. The themes in the river will be related to this as well during these months. So we will all be in the river, we will all be like contemplating themes in trust, in synchronicity, in ego, etc., as well as in your cohorts. So we meet via Zoom. This workshop is much like how I facilitate on Zoom in these workshops. It is very engaging. It is very embodied. It is very inviting for you to lean in. It's not a like passive doing something else while also here. It is present. And that is significant. That is part of adding the value. You would be able to schedule one-on-one sessions when it works for you. I would give you my Calendly link, and we would schedule the cohort meetings based on the group's availability. And then you're at complete option and agency to attend whatever river events you want to attend. And we'll probably have at least an event once a week in the river, maybe even twice a week. All variations, creative sangha, workshops, open mics, etc. So the investment for the 3-month program is sliding scale, $775 to $975. Members of the river get $100 off, and there are payment plans available. Now, a hack that I've noticed people calling in is professional development funds. I love when that happens. It's like, yes, let's go. So I definitely want to work with you on that if that's something that could be available for you. And then if you want to hear more about previous people's experiences in the programs, go ahead and check more out on the website. But it really is about what you get to walk away with, and not only within your own body, but in community, right? I think a lot of really beautiful friendships, collaborations have come out of the river and programs in the past. So you can always read more about this on the website and hear about people's experiences. If the sliding scale is not accessible to you, I recommend joining the river. The river is $44 a month, so it's a lot more accessible. It's meant to be. Accessibility is all relative, so it may or may not, but there is a lot there already, and that just doesn't include the one-on-ones. So the one-on-ones are really what it is, and then the curation of the masterminds. What questions might you have? The one-on-ones tend to be pretty therapeutic. I mean, I'm a therapist, right? So that's going to be naturally there. But this is where we can actually work somatically through what's beneath ego. Like, what is ego really protecting? Like, if ego is very persistent, which it can be, especially if we're doing this active work, it could be like, no, I'm holding on for dear life. I've held on for you. I've protected you your entire life. And now you want to get rid of me? Now you don't need me to do this? No, right? Sometimes that can happen. And part of it is just like continuing to soften and continuing to see what's there and to like actually be guided to move energy. That might happen. Sometimes, it's hard to even clarify what we want beyond ego. And so part of it is just inquiry, like asking questions specifically. Thanks, Naomi. Appreciate you. So yeah, so it's very personal and very emergent, but I will meet you where you're at, and we will go from there. Applications are open currently, and it asks a few questions just to prepare you and allow me to get to know you a little bit more if I need to for this particular program. And applications will be open. I think it's on the website sometime until when it's open till. If you end up joining the river before applying for the program, you can get the discount. Reach out if you have any questions and stay in touch either way. Yeah.